Okay, in this video, I just want to introduce a little bit what the universal category system actually is and give you a little overview of the whole system before we start breaking down into the various parts. So what is the universal category system? At its simplest form, the universal category system is a defined list of category, subcategory pairs. So think about things like boats, ship, animals, farm, ambience, public place, things like that. The attempt from us is to standardize this category list for use anywhere in the world. Our hope is that by standardizing this sort of category, subcategory list, that the transfer of sound effects, the selling of sound effects, the incorporating of sound effects into your library will be that much easier with every sound in an agreed upon category, subcategory. In addition to that definition of a category and subcategory, every pair is assigned an abbreviation, which we're calling CAT ID, which is short for category ID. And we'll talk more about how we use this a little bit later when we really dive into the system more thoroughly. In addition, for every category and subcategory, we're trying to assemble a list of synonyms. And again, I'll show you later how this can be useful and what we're sort of thinking it might be useful for in the future. This is a very quick view of what the list looks like. We will also be looking at it much more in depth in another video. But you can see that on the left is a list of categories. There are 82 top-level categories in our sort of system. And next to it is a subcategory breakdown for each category. So air has the subcategories miscellaneous, blow, burst, hiss, and suction. And for each of those is a category ID that's assigned. So air miss, air blow, air burst, air hiss, air suck, you can see there. And next to that is the category short, which is not really used right now in our system, but we decided to make it available. It's simply an abbreviation of just the category name by itself. Next to that, you can see this list of synonyms. This list will grow over time. We may crowdsource this to try and allow users to add more and more things, but these are simply terms that when you searched for them, we want to point you back to this category. So for example, if you look at air suction, you see vacuum, suck, and suction. So if you happen to look up any of those keywords, a system might recommend to you this particular category based on that. Or if you look under ambience amusement, some of the keywords that you might search for or link associated with that: Disneyland, Six Flags, amusement park, carnival, fair, county fair, midway, traveling fair, these type of things. Again, over time, this will grow this list and we'll find more interesting and useful ways to use it. So in addition to the list of synonyms, we're also translating this list into various languages. We have quite a few people helping us from around the world. We have quite a few languages done and in progress at the moment. And I'll show in a later video, particularly when we look at SoundMiner, how this list can be utilized sort of on an international level. But behind the scenes, just to show you a little sneak peek, this is sort of what's going on. For every category and subcategory, we have translated versions in different languages. There are still some holes in this list because we made some final changes to the list that need to be filled in, but you can see that there's translations for French, Polish, German, Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, Chinese, Dutch, Spanish, Japanese, and Italian right here. We also have several other languages done: Danish, Finnish, we're working on Swedish and Norwegian. And we hope that users from other countries will want to help us translate this list into other languages as well. So in addition to standardizing categories and subcategories, we're attempting to standardize a file name structure as well. And we'll look at this much more in depth in a separate video just about this topic. But the idea here is that by standardizing the file name as well, we can allow some pretty interesting scripting and automating of certain tasks regarding sound effects libraries. And again, we'll start showing this off when we start looking at the specific tools. And we're happy to have quite a few vendors and programmers on board with attempting to sort of implement this system into their programs in really interesting ways. And we'll show some of that more when we start looking at some of the tools. So that's what the universal category system is, what it is trying to do. And in the next video, we'll have a quick tour of our Google Drive home. And then after that, we'll really start diving into the list.